talked about that's what people want in life. So when they see you having an adventure on your Facebook, those are the times when you get all the likes. Everybody wants to be part of fun, friendship, and daily freedom. But they see that adventure, and that's when people want to be you, so to speak. It's like them to see that kind of stuff.
Another thing about posts, give a story. Don't just advertise. Invite them into your adventure. And just remember, you're celebrating you. When you do post, kind of hashtag the location. So if people are in that location where you're traveling, then they might see that post and possibly contact you for Instagram. Use emojis. Emojis will get people's attention. You know, if you're just posting some long paragraph, just words, it's kind of boring. People are just going to scroll past it. But if they see, you know, happy faces, drinks, you know, eyeballs, anything, then it's going to catch their eyes. So that's a big thing. I never really understood why people use them instead of words, but that makes total sense.
And it weighs higher in Facebook's algorithm. It'll show up in people's news feeds over words.
How do you put those in there? They copy when people say, hey, this
do you have an iPhone?
No, I have a Galaxy.
I don't know. I'm sure that there's
I was going to say there should be like an app you can download, because I know for iPhone that's what it was.
EMOJI.
It's an app I downloaded for iPhone, so I'm sure that there's an app.
And what's that? What's that for?
To get the emojis. She was wondering how you get emojis in it.
No, there's an option. There's an option on your keyboard, Sharon.
Huh?
I have Samsung. There's an option on your keyboard to use them.
Looks like a smiley face problem.
Yeah, but when I press that, it only gives me like the one that comes up at the end of your sentence. It doesn't let me put that in there. So I'm like going, I don't know how to do this. So I only get them in mind when I copy somebody's instructions.
I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you.
I'm sure if you can copy, you can do it.
Yeah, there's definitely a way. Another thing, John Eric was pointing to basically everybody out in the audience, to the beginners, to the ambassadors, to the rubies, to the diamonds, and giving them 3 specific to do. Find friendship, find fun, find freedom. Easy as that. And he said, ambassadors, this is what you got to do. Find friendship, find fun, find freedom. Simple as that. We try and keep it simple, guys. Keep your business plan to helping friends and making more friends, which brings us into the friendship part. We're here to help others, to get others into a healthy relationship with themselves and with others in general. We want to share. The greatest relationships come from share and adventure. And conversations start with revelations. So that's what I got from him. And then with the fun part, take this business seriously, but not yourself. Okay, you want to work, you want to post every day, you really want to, what's the word?
Have no shame in your game is what I've said about it.
Yeah, simply like that. But just don't take yourself seriously. Sharon, I think that was one of your aha moments in your video.
Yes.
You can probably
explain
that.
Adventure pants.
Yes. He had green giraffe adventure pants on, and he was happy as ever up on stage.
When he was talking about what keeps him up at night, he was talking about that single mom who's having a hard time putting food on the table. Those are the things that keep him up at night. Not, what's going on with himself or, what his next adventure is, but really thinking about the other person. That's what he's talking about. Don't take yourself too seriously. You have to take others seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. Yeah. Like that's what I got out of it.
Right.
I think that's important because in the beginning that was my biggest thing is I don't want to bug people with posting. Like I wonder what people think of all my posting and that sort of thing. But my big aha moment with that lately was I kind of have instilled that in one of my distributors. I finally just told her because that was her biggest thing. And I actually got a message from her yesterday that she just reached out. She finally stopped hearing, and it just so happened that the lady she talked to, her daughter has an autoimmune disease, has been losing her hair, has skin problems and all that, and she got started on hair, skin, and nails. And she's had amazing results. And she said she never would have talked to her. She would have kept it to herself. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Can't take yourself too seriously.
I'm kind of private. I don't put my stuff out there all that often. And then, we're doing this whole thing. I was staying at Judy's house, and then my college roommate texts me and says, "Hey, how do you take ThermoFit? Blah blah blah." Because I just signed up with somebody, and I'm going, I've got to be kicking myself right now. That I've been posting. She goes, "I know you're a war veteran. I just signed up with a newbie." And I'm like, "Oh no, you're just killing me right now." Because I didn't say anything.
Right.
I got 5 siblings, and one of my kids' teachers, I'm pretty friendly with all their teachers because I'm crafty, so I make them cool stuff, and they keep in contact with me. Well, she messages me on Facebook, and she's like, "Hey, and I haven't really been doing anything this summer because right at the beginning of summer, my 94-year-old grandpa passed away, and my mom lost it, and it was kind of unexpected. I mean, he was 94, but it was unexpected. Like, he came to my kid's dedication to our church, and then 3 days later, he passed away. And it kind of was like, and I made Emerald the month before, and everything had been going. So I just signed up in February. Everything was going so good, and everything was awesome. And then it was kind of like I hit a wall. And then whenever that happened, I didn't know what it is. And then summer started, and all my kids are under 8 years old, and there's 5 of them, and they're boys, and I'm.
More power to you.
Okay.
I had 5 girls. Understand?
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was like I kind of like hit a wall or whatever. Well, I talked to his teacher or whatever, and she messaged me. She's like asking me about it, work and stuff, and I'm like, oh, sweet, because I haven't really done anything this summer because, like I said, my youngest is 10 months old, and then my oldest is 8 years old, so they're all like, I have to go to orientation tomorrow. One at 8,
here.
one at 12, and one at 4. So because they go to 3 different schools. So I'm like, when they go back to school, I'm gonna dive back in, and try to. Well, she's talking to me about it, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, she's gonna sign up. She's like asking me how to convince her husband and stuff. Her best friend from college does it and has been trying to convince her to do it, and I'm someone that she knows outside of that she can kind of,
Good idea.
Yeah. And so I'm like giving her advice, and it's one team, one mission. Yeah. Dang it, But you should do it, and you should tell your husband to shut up and just let you know. But if I had, I didn't want to talk to the teachers, which teachers are great, plug-in or whatever, but I didn't want to, annoy them. I sold to one of my kids' teachers, but I didn't, you just think that people, they're not going to be in it, you're Debbie Downer on yourself or whatever. But if I had just maybe said something to her when I had first started doing it, because I also make baby stuff, and I'm walking in Walmart, I see a pregnant lady or a kid with a baby, and I'm like, is that your baby? And I'm like, I make baby stuff, Why can't I do that? If I would have just done that with my work stuff, I might have been able to get her. So definitely.
Sometimes you need those moments, though, to
Yeah.
remind you,
Yeah.
I'm not doing everything I could.
Yeah.
So they suck, but they're good.
I've definitely had a few people that are distributors now that aren't connected with our team, but they've reached out to me and say, should I do this? Should I not? And I'm like, heck yeah, you should do this. Like, take this opportunity and run. And then I find out,
They weren't.
No, we're not asking for my team.
But
That's all
when
right.
I find that out, though, I do try to keep it positive because it
Absolutely.
does. It is. I'm like, even if you don't do it with me, you should do it because it's, But it does. It's deep down, you're like, oh man, they could help. We're helping each other. Hope you got a good team.
Right. Yeah. If not, I'm still here.
And if not, if you come to me later and you're like, man, my team sucks, and I'm like, well.
and apparently we have adopted a few from other teams here in Tallahassee. So, but that's okay. One team, one mission. It all leads down to that. Let's see. The next thing I went over friendship fun, freedom. Trying to skip over some of this. When people say no to you or they're not interested, just remember they're not technically saying no to you. They're saying no to themselves because they haven't researched enough information to even know what it's about or how it can help them in the future. So just don't be a Debbie Downer on yourself if somebody just says, no, I don't want that. I literally gave somebody a Blitz card the other day at Publix and she gave it right back to me. I was
Someone
like,
did that to me at Walmart.
okay,
I
just
was
walk
like,
out,
"Hey."
you're okay.
That was my first time trying to blitz someone too, by the way.
So
Pretty
for real good,
Yeah.
like,
I was like, hey, she was like, she literally handed back to me. She's like, no, I'm good with what I'm doing, and I was like, because I just
say really.
I was thinking,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I can help you, but whatever, But no, I had like put it off on my kids. I'm like, I got 5 kids. I'm like, here, hand these to every person that you see.
There you go.
And then I go try to do it. The first time I tried to do it, she was like, no thanks. I was like, you could have just took it, put it up,
Threw it away later, but like,
whatever.
And that hasn't happened to me too many times, but when it happens, you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because I was still checking out, and I was like, okay, let's hurry up now, walk out the door. But, I moved on after that. You got to jump over the funk. You got to get over it and move on to the next one. Find somebody else to blitz. Find somebody's information to get from them. Just send them stuff. Another reason why people say no, because it's so easy. Just no off the bat. No, I don't want to know about it. No, I've been there, done that. And of course, add life to days. You can't add days to your life or to people's lives, but you can add life to their days. And of course, say yes to adventure. If you say no, you're robbing the world. We already went over the $99 for anybody, any business, 100-day adventure. Pam Souter literally got up on stage and talked about the steps to success. Keeping it simple. Make it easy. Make your beach money. Whatever kind of vacation adventure you want to go on, make that money. And then the famous Joel and Stephanie Dunn got on stage. They brought up a good point. Other companies cannot tell you how to make money. Our company always just leads back to the steps to success. Steps 1, 2, and 3. Pretty simple. We all already have step 1 complete, which is joining the party. Okay, step 2, of course, is getting those 4 loyals, and then step 3 is finding people to join you. Okay, so just always keep that in mind. Seriously, try and laminate the steps to success. Try and fill it out monthly. I do not do that every month, but I'm going to start to, because it's going to help. If Pam Souter got up on stage and talked about the steps to success, then that's how you're going to build your business. Her of all people. And Joel and Stephanie, they started before the steps to success, and that's just crazy to think. But, and then they just rose to the top after that.
Just think about it. If you did that every month, how big your chart would be.
Right.
If you
Insane.
honestly did that, got those 7 people.
It's tough to do, but at least have that as your simplest goal to complete each month. You might not complete it, but
I've kind of looked at it like as if you just make that every person that you enroll goal, then it just kind of, you might not do it every month, but if you at least try to and get some of it, and that's everybody's goal. Like, I kind of, the person that signed me up is like talking about quitting and stuff, which is really discouraging, by the way. But if you just, every person you sign up, you make their main goal, like, to get to Ruby. And they make every person they sign up goal to get to Ruby, then they're all just going for Ruby. So, and then once they get there, they want to go further. But it is discouraging to have here.
yeah, that's another thing, though. I mean, everybody has their downfalls. Everybody has that funk that they're in, that they just want to quit. They just want to drop everything and run away instead of running towards what they're trying to go for. I've had many, many funks throughout the last 2 years. But have you guys heard Mike Patillo has done 7 videos on YouTube. They're like 5-minute videos. It's called Jump the Funk.
Yeah, I listen. Alicia sent me.
Listen to them. You don't even have to. You don't watch it. It's on YouTube. I've listened to them twice now in my car on the way home, on the way to work, and it really helps. Even if you're not in a funk, if you know somebody that's in a funk, send this to them. Let them listen to it. Listen to it for you to forward on to them. Like, it seriously helps. I just listened to it the other day, and they're seriously like 7-minute videos. So it's simple, even if you just listen to one of them.
They were really good. I practiced with makeup well.
Yeah.
Great time.
Makeup was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, you
He has
can listen to
lots
him
of
over and
awesome
over.
stuff, though.
Yeah.
I recommend following him on Facebook if you aren't already.
Definitely all of these people that I'm mentioning, follow them. Let's see.
When you have 5 boys, you have to do something to make it consistent.
I can imagine so.
So I bought $350 worth of MAC makeup, and I just might be doing dishes, but I'm looking damn good doing it.
Rock on, sister. Rock on.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Denise and Brandon Walsh. I've never really heard of them until Green Carpet, but they said the same thing. All you need is steps 1, 2, and 3. It always leads back to that. Take it and run. Run fast. Run as fast as you can, because you guys can do it. We can all do it. Consistency. That's huge. Post every day. Talk to at least one person a day. It's going to make a difference. And then, of course, identify your why, whether it's small or huge, or you don't even have one. Find a reason. Even if it's just to pay for your gas every day, even if it's just to pay for groceries every month. Just identify your why. Another tip that Denise and Brandon gave was, for every distributor that you enroll, try and give them their first post. Help them out. Give them their first post, and it'll go on from there. And, of course, host them a party. And then we had Melody and Blair McFarland. I seriously, barely watched the stage. I was, in myself the whole time. Let's see. Don't overcomplicate things. Keep it easy. Keep a 100s list. Check them off if they enrolled, if they, bought something from you, or if they even seemed a little bit interest. Just keep notes on people. Go back to them 2 weeks later. If they say, oh, I'm waiting on my check. And timing. Everybody says, no, this isn't my time, or they'll start, and then they'll, restart down the road. When it's right, it's right. You can't force somebody into this. You can try, but don't let yourself get down if somebody tells you no, because you're going to get a lot of those.
And you have to beg them to join, you're going to have to beg them to work.
Exactly. 100% agree.
I found that it's really discouraging. I know that I haven't been doing much this summer, but I signed up a lot of people. I think I signed up at least 15 distributors, and she's the only one still actually working or whatever. And I mean, part of it is my fault. I still try to check back and stuff, but how do you? And I checked, and none of them are not active.
Right.
They're still active in the e-suite or whatever, but they're not doing anything. Some of them deactivated their Facebook because of their baby mama drama or whatever, and I don't know how to get them back into it. So I kind of feel like I'm starting over, which is fine. I mean, I've only been doing it since February, so starting over is really not that big of a deal. I've been doing that long,
But you can invite them to these trainings. You could do an open house type thing at your house to try to get them excited again. To me, half this business is excitement.
yeah, it definitely.
Because if you're excited about it, everybody else feeds off of it. If you're just oh, your results are good and the wraps worked, and
We live in a
do you
small
want to sign
town,
up?
so people are oh, well, how much can I do? And I have gotten discouraged, but then I find so I wouldn't be posting or whatever. But then I find when I post, I've got 4 people messaging me wanting to know something, and even though if it doesn't follow through, it's at least they're interested. And then if they're asking about it, they are interested. So they might not be ready at that time, but they're watching.
They're watching what you're doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's not. I mean, you haven't been in it that long, and so I mean, you've still got this. You have one that's working, so you start with
my
her.
husband was really excited about it to start off with. He did the thing, got really good results.
He had insane results.
Yeah. And then when Nina went triple diamond and all that happened, well, what happened was she had to place some orders to make him ruby, which made me emerald, which made Allie diamond, which made her. And then it's after that everybody just, and everybody got discouraged. Like, first of all, I kind of was like, oh, I don't want to have to place orders to make it happen, and then you think about how much time that Nina invests into this, and you're like, do you want to be, it seems like it consumes her life, do you want to be that person, and not that there's anything wrong with what she does or whatever, but then, once she basically, did all of that, all the people that she helped promote besides myself was like, it's like they didn't really have to work for that, I guess.
Right.
So after that happened, they didn't really want to work at all.
They got the position.
Exactly. Like, Allie wants to quit. She's like, oh, I just invest too much time. But, I mean, you have to go to work from 8 to 5 every day. That's time you're investing into. So what's the difference?
That's what I was going to say about Nina is at the same time, if some of y'all don't know Nina, I'm not sure if you've met her yet, that's her job. I mean, that's what she does. So instead of me going to work 8 to 4 every day, Nina is doing it work. And I know, too, from like January until she promoted, that's what she was working on. That was her goal of Triple Diamond. And so now I know once she's hit that, she's been able to kind of take a deep breath and.
Well, what happened, though, is that
when
my husband saw that she had to, a significant orders had to be placed for that to happen, and then we see how much, he's like, I don't want this to consume your life, so I kind of had to like take it out, like, there's got to be a medium where it can be successful for you, but it doesn't have to.
Casey's a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
And I mean, she does look like she's constantly, on Facebook wise, but I mean, she has a life outside of her videos, and post. And I mean, how long does it take to just, hey, okay, done,
Right.
But I'm sure there's like hundreds of people messaging her constantly, and her phone is constantly going off. But I mean, you have to make a compromise. She does get to stay home all day,
right,
and have her phone going off, So, but I don't know. He was just like, I don't. So he stepped back, which has kind of made me like, because it was so nice to have him be like, yeah, we're doing this, but I gotta just reel him back in.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have to place orders if you have the volume there, is the way that I look at it. And so from my promotions, I have never placed an order to get that promotion. Right.
If it's not meant to
Don't
be, you don't
rush.
force
Right,
it.
exactly. You just say, when I get the volume, it's going to get me there. And
yeah.
And I told people, I was a distributor up until like last month before, I don't remember. But I was making Ruby pay.
Right.
And so that's the thing is you don't have to have the title.
You didn't have
to
the
making,
distributors, but you had the
but I have the loyals.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is, it'd be great to be able to say I'm Ruby, but I'm perfectly happy with that money going in my bank account and saying I'm a distributor. I mean, and so that's the other thing is you only have to place the orders if it's not there. And I told myself going into this, I'm never going to put my personal money into this. I'm going to put the money from the business back into the business. And when I promote, I promote. But until then, I'm just going to keep pushing forward and making what I'm making.
Well, when all that happened, I did kind of like, have an epiphany, that like I want this, but I don't want to, I'm not going to buy my promotions, and I'm not going to, you can't make it happen. And if you do, like, I would rather build slow and strong than fast and have it all fall apart, like I don't want to get to Triple Diamond and then it's only there for that month because I did all these things to make it happen, and now I'm a Triple Diamond, but I'm not really, because I'm not, I'm all the way back down at Diamond Pay because I, forced it when it wasn't meant to be. I would rather just, build, I mean, we have time, I think about like Alicia and where she's come in what, like 4 or 5 years, right? Not even 4, like 4 years.
3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years. And I mean, we all have that time. I mean, 3 or 4 years are going to happen either way. So either take the time and do it smart, or keep rushing and then you just keep setting yourself up and resetting, And so by going through that with all that, it did kind of teach me that I would rather. Okay, I got to Emerald, but really I'm like a Ruby, and I'll stay at Ruby for however long until, because not every person that you sign up is going to stay and actually do, a lot of people, and I try to explain to them that's not how it works, but that's just what they're thinking. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to sign up, it's just going to do itself, And
That's the thing. When you hit a rank, you can't just stop working. You keep working. You keep talking to people about it. Yeah, they might, your downlines might be working a little bit to help you out, but you can't stop. You cannot stop and be like, okay, yeah, I hit this rank. I'm done. I'm good. I can relax for a little bit. No, you keep going. This is your business.
one day
You're working for you.
Exactly.
you might be able to.
Exactly. One day, you'll be able to.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, build a strong team.
I'm
Slow
doing
and
this
strong.
financial class, the Dave Ramsey financial
That's
thing.
awesome.
Okay. And so he says, live like no one today so that you can live like no one, tomorrow. Or so like you might not have everything everyone has now, but if you anyway, same concept, I guess.
Same thing.
Exactly.
I know. She just signed a distributor and she's calling.
My phone has been going off the hook for like.
I was gonna say, there's no rules, please.
I can't talk to you. I'm at it work.
No,
Hey,
you're right.
distributor.
I'm not busy. I'm actually at one of the meetings, and I was Bonnie, the girl I enrolled under, just called me out, and they're like, "You better answer that answer." So I'm cracking up right now, but I'll answer. Go ahead.
There's just a few more.
Yeah, cover what you need to. We're still good.
Okay.
Mine won't
Yeah.
take that long.
Okay.
Cover what you need to.
Let's see. They had quite a few people also step on stage and do their product testimonies. Sean McLean, look him up. It took him 11 months to actually say yes, to actually get into the business. He did not want anything to do with it, but then he started the triple threat. He didn't do triple threat. He was taking New You, Thermofit, and Greens. And his tips were to stay focused and buy in and sell you. Use the product, show people what it does. And then I think Derek met next. Okay, here's another one. They had a distributor up on stage, sitting on the white couch, and you think as a distributor, they're not going to call me up. I'm nothing. And that's basically what she was saying. She's like, I'm just a distributor. And they basically shot her down and told her she's not just anyone. She is somebody that's trying to chase her dreams, that's trying to do something for herself. And what she did, let's see. She didn't want to tell us how much weight she lost. She's like, ew, I don't weigh myself. And she went from a size 24 to a size 18 using the triple threat, which is the Greens, Thermofit, and Fat Fighters. So that's a major thing going on right now. If somebody is trying to lose weight, then definitely suggest that to them.
I want to lose weight.
And she even said she doesn't work out.
You want to see it?
So, of course, we're not going to push the don't work out thing, but that was just something that she added on there. And
Loyal, mine is down 17 pounds.
I had a loyal that she was doing Thermofit Fat Fighter, but she was like 300 pounds. And like if you're that big, it falls off a lot faster,
Yeah, I have a little customer that's taking Greens and Fat Fighters, and she lost 20 to 30 pounds since November, which is awesome.
This girl lost, she lost like 28 pounds in like 2 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still breastfeeding my baby though, and so like I'm worried about, but it's almost over.
You got this.
I think it's almost over. It's a lot harder than it sounds to get them off of, Yeah. Well, I thought it would be like, 1 year and you'd be like, okay, we're done, but it's not now.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Another thing, your biggest enemy is right here between your ears. Right here. That's your biggest enemy. So just remember that. Don't let it get to your head. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
You know what really made me be like, I really need to get into this? My husband was like, do you want to go back to college? I was like, no. I'm like, we got 5 kids, and I I don't want to go back to college. Like,
It's a pretty good why, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
Definitely.
we gotta do something. And I'm like, okay.
You got your something.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, they talked about hosting parties. If you guys are stay-at-home moms or if you have a day off, just remember that there's always going to be those stay-at-home moms that are available during the day. So maybe that's their best time to have themselves host a party. Exactly. Okay, so just think about that. Have afternoon parties, have morning parties if you can, but then also have the night parties for the people who work. Cammie Dempsey got up there and she goes, "Why do we party?" And it gets the rap on people. You know, you can watch these virtual events all day long, but they don't feel how it's working. So it gets the rap on people, and they see results right then and there. Of course, you get rap cash from it, which is always nice. And we all have dud parties. Everybody has dud parties, okay? We don't always have somebody show up to the parties. I might have had like 4 show up to mine. I barely even remember mine. This was 2 years ago. I think Cassie was at my launch party, but I had no idea what I was doing. Catherine
I have
had
none.
But you know what we did? We used that time to help train each other, to help follow up with people. We used that time and didn't just walk out the door and say, whatever. Some tips at a party: pull up Facebook and have them add you as a friend if you don't know them, or have them take a picture and tag you to let everybody that they know what they're doing. And you know, if you have a bunch of people, maybe say the most likes or comments wins something for free. And then, of course, when it comes to talking about a distributor at parties, ask them, how many people love to save money? I guess it could go for loyal customers, too. Just let them know, you know, loyal customers have full control, just like a Costco or Sam's membership. They pay a monthly fee for that. So why not pay a monthly fee for something that's going to help them?
With that, I found that, like, if you say they're buying a box of wraps and they don't really want they don't want to do the 3-month thing. I mean, it basically is only $10 more to just pay $50. Right. And for the low customer, I'm like, well, you might as well do this. Next time you save all this money and then use it.
Well, and sometimes I'll even say that. I'm like, you can pay the $50 or you can, you know, buy a couple boxes of wraps a month.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, true.
I like to give them the cost of 3 months versus a month. So I like to tell people, if you are a loyal customer with the wrap, it's $177 for 3 months versus $99 for 1 month. And most people right there are like, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. And that's the same for all the products. I mean,
Right.
you know, hair, skin, and nails. You can pay $99 or you can pay $175. I mean, and that normally sells itself right there.
Just help them compare it. And then she went on to talking about the party pad. I used to skip through talking about the distributor all the time, and I probably lost a lot of potential distributors doing that. But if you're not talking about it, if you're not believing about it, then nobody else is. And of course, when it comes to the income chart and you're going over the party pad, let them point to one. Say, which one do you want? Pick one. And then say, we're going to get you there. You know, help them believe by you believing in yourself. And then, of course, believe this is the best opportunity out there. And then the good old Mark Pentecost got on stage. He basically told us that we weren't put here on accident. You don't want to say what if. We do this because we can. Be confident in yourself. And I don't know if you guys know his inside story about where he started. He walked the same path as us, just going back to what Ryan was saying. Everybody that walked up on stage, everybody that was in that building, everybody that's here, we're all the same. We're normal people. so we can all do it. Okay, there's always going to be obstacles, and just, let them pass. And realize the doubters are not paying your bills. You are. Don't be afraid to dream. Make the impossible possible and the uncommon common. You can do it. Fight, fight, fight. And the whole thing where he brought that up at the end, it works fight, is a hashtag that you guys can use. Basically, fight for your goals, fight for your life, fight for others, fight for your future, your happiness, your family, etc. Find something that you want to fight for and go for it. Go for it. And I read this quote the other day. It kind of has something to do with like working out, but you can put it towards it works as well. You can throw in the towel, or you can use it to wipe the sweat off your face. But that's pretty much it. I took some notes on Jump the Funk, but I really think that you guys should just listen to it yourself and take down notes just to read over every day, or save those videos and read them whenever you're in a funk. Even if it's not about this, it'll still help you. Yeah.
We're going to switch gears completely. And for those of you, I was not able to make it the last minute. There's going to be another corporate event in January. So if we want to get like a group together to go, anything like that, as soon as they announce dates and location, we'll start working on putting something together. I know we're going to go, so anybody else that wants to go is more than welcome to go with us. We can always split those costs of carpooling, hotel, everything like that to make everything cheaper for everybody. But switching gears completely, something I've heard a lot lately from my distributors and from other people is I have loyals, they're staying 3 months, and then they're gone. So I started asking people, something that I did from the get-go, which, I mean, it's something that I just was taught growing up, was you write people thank you notes, you do that sort of thing. And I always thought it was really dumb growing up, but so when I started this business, I've seen people recommend, as people are coming close to their 3 months, write them a thank you note. And so that's something I started doing, was on their second month, once they placed that order, I would write them a thank you note, and in that thank you note, I would include any of their perk points. And so a lot of them, I would say, thanks for your orders, you're approaching your 3rd month, you have this many perk points, just so you know, that could get you this for free for your 4th month. And so then they aren't paying for that 4th month, but then a lot of them have stayed after that. So that's something that I always recommend doing. If you have customers that have been around for a long time, that are valuable customers, I had one that actually just switched to a distributor, and she's been with me since I signed as a distributor. And so for stuff like her, when the energy drink came out, I'm like, can I bring you one to work? You want to do value-added services for people. I know that money can be tight. I know that I'm not saying give away all this free product to everybody. But there are some people, like I know my granddad. He has terrible joint problems, cartilage problems. I just ordered relief. I still had a couple, product points left over. I used some of that. And then I also just, it's like $20-something, and if it gets them to sign, then it gets them to sign. I just did a wrap party. And when I did the wrap party, I always do samples, because when somebody touches something, they're automatically going to want it, 9 times out of 10. So at the wrap parties, I always take one energy. I'm not saying give every single person at the party an energy, but I take one energy, and I take almost like little sample cups, and I just pour just a little taste in it. Let them taste it. I make a bottle of the greens. I take 1 packet of greens, pour it in a water bottle, let them all taste it. And so just having those value-added services where people can try things, where people aren't just, you're not giving them a catalog and saying, here, place an order today, when they haven't had a chance to try anything. They just feel like, oh, she just wants my order. That's all she cares about. You want to actually care about people. I know that I've had a girl that has been saying for forever, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to sign up, I'm going to sign up, and she hasn't signed up. And so the other day she posted something about her car had to get towed or something, and it was like $400 bill or something like that. And I just commented on it, and I was like, oh no, like that really stinks. After that, she was like, as soon as I pay my car bill, can you help me on setting up to become a loyal customer? People don't want to feel like just a number on your chart. People don't want to feel like, oh, she just is trying to get the commission and that's it. You need to stay in touch with your loyals, your potentials, your distributors. Everybody wants to feel important. I mean, put yourself in their position. Do you want somebody to just sign you up and then you never hear from them again until they need another promotion and then they need your volume to go up? And so I like to stay in touch. Something that I personally do is I set reminders in my phone, like a week before their orders are supposed to go out. I'll send them a text message or I'll call them, however I normally talk to them, and I'll just say, hey, your order's set to come out on the 22nd, whatever, just making sure you still want this product and that that date is okay. If not, I can push it back to the 25th. It's the last possible day that you can push it back to. So a lot of the times, people with other companies, what I've heard is somebody signed me up and then that was it. I was expected to take care of everything. And so just the reminder of, hey, you know, your order's supposed to come out, then they feel like they didn't just sign up under you and then you were gone. And a lot of the times, I mean, one of my biggest things with auto shipments, and the reason I don't like them is because I forget when they're supposed to come out. And then all of a sudden I'm like, crap, that just took $100 out of my account and I didn't have the $100 or something. Just a gentle reminder of, hey, this is what's going on, keeping you in the loop, and you have control over that. Another thing that I offer to do for people is I'll take care of it for them. So some people, they want control over it. They want to log in every month. They want to change their order. They want to change their date. But I'll just text them and say, hey, you know, this is set to come out. You can change it, or if you want me to take care of it, just send me your password, and I'm happy to change it to whatever you want to. So
I have a problem, not a problem, but I'm not very good at keeping track of stuff.
well, you have 5 children.
Yeah.
I can imagine not.
And like the people that have ended up having me sign them up, you know, they want me. They'll be like, you know, 3 months later. I mean, and I'm pretty good about like, do you like your stuff? You know, how's it going, whatever. But then they want, and I didn't write down their password because I didn't think, you know, I told them what it was, and then I'm like, okay, you know, you changed your stuff. And then they want, oh, can you cancel my stuff for me? Can you? And I'm like, okay, well, I've come up with a key that I make their password. I do their first initial and last initial, and then their birthday in 2 digits. But sometimes that doesn't work, and then I have to be like, what's your birthday word? But everybody, I get to like, you know, they're like, oh, cancel it for me. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Well, I have 5 kids, so sometimes I forget. And then they're like, did you cancel my stuff? And I'm like, dang it, I didn't. You know, but it's not, you know, I gave them their information to do it. I mean, I understand that I guess they kind of like put it as like it's my responsibility or whatever, but I can't keep up with it.
And it is a lot to keep up with, especially if you do have kids. I will say that. But what I normally try to do is at least like 1 day a week. So whether it's a Saturday, whether it's a Sunday, any day that week, I like to just log into eSuite, go through my list, see who has an order coming up. So, I mean, it might take me an hour.
Is there a spot that like shows upcoming orders? Or you
no, I just go through my list.
Okay.
And that's just, I mean, it might take me an hour a week, but if it keeps everybody happy, and what I've learned in the business is the more you take on yourself, the easier it makes it for them, and the longer they stay.
Right.
And so I'm not going to say, oh, it's a breeze, and you can keep up with all of this, no problem.
Well, I guess what's hard is that I haven't been keeping up with it, so to
Right.
be like, okay, now I'm going to keep up with it, you know, like, what?
When it's kind of like you said, though, you're starting new.
Yeah.
You can have a new way of doing it.
Yeah.
And like I said, some people do filing systems. I'm hardly at home.
I have totally the desire to be organized, but not the ability.
Well, I'm an OCD planning freak.
Me too.
I am.
I'm like, let me get a file of facts. Yeah, but no, it's not going to help because I'm not going to organize. So.
Or your kids are going to destroy it once it happens. I'm an OCD planning freak, so I will tell you that. But I don't keep papers. Like, I'm not going to keep up with them. And so that's why I just do it in my phone. And then if somebody changes from the 13th to the 17th, then I just change that in my phone. So like I said, I mean, it might take an hour a week, but I like to look at it as I spend an hour a week doing plenty of other stuff that is not at work. I can sacrifice that to spend the hour looking at who has upcoming shipments and just let them know. And that's just something that in the beginning I wasn't very good with it, and I would have people like, when is this coming out? When is this? And when I started keeping track of it, I noticed that basically I'm a numbers person, and so my retention rate technically went up. I mean, I had people stick around longer when I made it easier for them.
Right.
So the easier you can make it for people, the better, in my opinion. It does take some work, but again, I mean, you get what you put into this business. If If you put an hour a week, you're going to get that paycheck. If you put more time into it, you're going to get that paycheck. And so some of us are busy. I get it. I mean, I totally get it. Trust me.
I decided that what I need to do is work super hard during the school year so that because even though like back in May, I made $1,400 and that was my 4th month doing it. That's really good, right? But then I just quit doing it. I haven't done anything all summer, but I still brought in like $300 a month, not doing anything at all. I mean, like I might, oh yeah, I should do something, and then I make a post, but nothing ever came of it. So if I can, obviously during the summertime, especially while they're young, I can't. Like I'm just doing everything I can not to pull my own hair out. So
I get it.
you know, so if I can work really hard during the school year, maybe I can get it to where it'll kind of maintain itself a little bit. I mean, of course it's going to get easier as you get older, but you have to come up with what works for you, I guess.
Absolutely. And I mean, we're all human in here. We all, I mean, we get busy. Nobody's perfect. I mean, I don't expect everybody to follow up every single day with customers. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. You do what you can with what you have. And I'm a firm believer in that. Some people can spend more time on this business. Trust me, I get it. I own 2 companies. I'm planning a wedding. I do this. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
And I know you don't have time, but you will get what you put into this. And that's something that I slacked with at first. And now I realize when I look at my paycheck, you do get what you put into it. And so do what you can. You don't have to send out 500 thank you notes tomorrow. But, you know, even if people, I know you've been in since February, but it could be a nice surprise to people now since they haven't heard from you in a little bit to maybe say, thanks so much for sticking around with me. I've had a busy summer. And just be real with people. I mean, people can relate to real people. And people also know when you're bullshitting them.
I generally don't have trouble on the real.
I can tell. Don't worry. But if you're real with people and you just send them a thank you note, thanks so much. I really appreciate your business. I have 5 kids. It's summertime. I'm sorry that you haven't heard from me, but I'm still here. If you need anything, let me know and do that. Perk points are a big thing. So people, I like to go through, and that's the thing. So when you tell them, oh, you have $30 in free products, you are their new best friend because it's a free order for them. And the last thing that I'll say that I just found out when they tell you to cancel their order, if you can stay on top of it, if you can't stay on top of it, cancel it. But what I have learned is I like to postpone them instead of canceling them. Because if you cancel them, they have 30 days to use those perk points or they're gone. Yeah. And so if they have 50 perk points, they don't use them in those 30 days, they're gone. And then also a lot of the promotions that they do will be for people who have active auto shipments.
So you don't get perk points on a regular, it's only on auto shipment orders?
You mean for your loyal?
Yeah.
Or for
like if they're a loyal customer
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have an auto shipment set, but they place an order for some rent.
They will, but they'll get 10% of that order back and they'll have 30 days to use this point. So that's the thing is people that have been around since I signed up now have close to like 50 points, and a lot of them are hitting their 6 months where they get those 50 bonus points after their 6 months. And so that's the other thing is a lot of people will say, oh, I'm in my 5th month. Can you just pause it? And I like to tell them, why don't you stay till the next month? You're going to get 50 perk points. That's $50 in free product.
Does it show you in eSuite how many perk points they have?
Yeah.
Or do you have to?
It does?
Yes, I think there's a report in there because I saw it. It's not always the same though.
Yeah, I was going to say Liz had some that that showed up, but it had been past their 30 days, and so they had expired. Mm-hmm. And so in Liz's, it was still showing that they had like 38.6 perk points.
Well, your perk points you have to use within 30 days of when you get them?
No, if you cancel an auto shipment. So no, if you have ongoing auto shipments, they'll keep accruing. But if you cancel today, you have 30 days from today to use those perk points. And so if you can stay on top of it and people ask you to cancel, I'll be like, okay, I postpone it. And so that's what I do for a lot of them is I'll postpone it so that if any deals come up like BOGO and that sort of stuff, you know, there's an active auto shipment, you can get that in. And that's not a requirement for all of the specials that come up. They won't be that you have to have a current auto shipment, but some of them do. I think Energy was that way, maybe, that you have to have a current auto shipment set up, I think. And I could be wrong, but I just postpone them. But again, if you're just overwhelmed and you're like, I'm not going to remember to postpone it next month, then cancel it. But just let them know you have these third points. You have 30 days to use them, just so you know. The more value-added services you can provide, the happier clients you're going to have, the longer they're going to stick around. And the longer the more they're going to refer you to people. Because they're going to say, oh, she got me started on this and she's taking care of it. I haven't had to worry about it since day one. Is there anything y'all do value-added services? Share? No? Well, my last thing to y'all is whether you have your phone, whether you have pen and paper, whatever, Liz and I would like for you to write down a long-term goal with the business and a short-term goal with the business. So one of my distributors on the other side of the country, her short-term was to increase her PBV by 100 in the next month. Something simple, something easy, but give you something to work towards. And then in our meeting next month, we want to hear where you are on these goals, your short-term and your long-term. I mean, it can be simple. I want to find one loyal customer in the next month. It doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be crazy. Write your goals down. Hold yourself accountable. Let's all hold each other accountable. And let's help each other make our goals. Don't give me that look.
Anybody have questions? I think this was one of our best ones.
I would agree.
I'm now friends with Mr. Sean McLean.
Making big moves over here. Goal accomplished.
Hey, maybe they'll like your picture.
Maybe.
You go. It did. It's just not live, so it's something that recorded. But
Where at the green carpet, the girl I was sitting next to, every guy that came out, she's like, "Oh my God, he's so hot!" Like I swear, every single guy.
Just make sure the other door. There's two doors. Make sure the other one's locked.
Sure.
But
Every
seriously
single
though,
guy.
think about Limelight. Actually, don't just think about it. Start saving your money now.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It'll
The thing
change
in
your life.
February or January.
It'll
January,
be in
yeah.
January in Orlando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Liz and I are planning on going. Anybody that wants to go, well, then you're in. We'll all carpool. We can split hotel rooms, whether it's 1 or 2 cars, 1 or 2 hotel rooms. We'll make the cost go down for everybody, and we'll do it as a team. I know that we all have different uplines.
My short-term goal is to save enough money to pay a babysitter to go.
There you go. Hey, I can find you a babysitter.
Well, for
I got
5
you.
kids, are you sure?
Yep.
Because
I promise. She's a nanny.
Like,
That's her full-time job.
that's what we come up with every time we want to go. And we're like, well, what do you pay someone to watch 5 kids for 3 days? No.
Just say, stock your fridge, and I can talk. Yeah. I got a girl that used to work for me.
Well, I
She's a
stock my
nanny.
fridge. I do. I think I'm like, what do you want? You want Dr. Pepper? I got Dr. Pepper.
I can pay you in Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Do my laundry, and I'll pay you extra.
So once you wrote down your goals, you are free to go. You're free to stay, hang out, ask questions, whatever you want to do. And thank y'all for coming.
Can I take a picture before everybody leaves?
Yeah.